Hello, everyone. I'm glad that you're here. I'm Donna, and I am the host of the Path Forged with Tech podcast, and you are currently consuming episode number 8 from that podcast series. And I am your host, Donna Smith. And today we are going to talk at length about YouTube and the features that I think are important for any online business owner or person who has a passion project, whether they are a speaker or a leader or to do with hobbies that they're involved in, anything like that, we can leverage YouTube as a channel creator to be able to get our audio and video content out there for the world to consume and be able to find us. This is very important in the SEO and search engine marketplace nowadays. So that's what it is that we're going to concentrate on, are the feature reviews I feel that are important features for YouTube channel creators to know about, to maximize their content publishing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, this is episode number 8 of the Path Forged with Tech podcast. So my particular backstory with utilizing YouTube was that about 2 years ago is when I started my channel for my business, Your Tech and More. And I decided to do that because I wanted to find and implement a new system via a YouTube channel that would get me out there more, to be found by my target audience, and also more, just as important to me, even as a business owner, is to provide high quality education in short form formats for all of you to consume. And it's also fun for me to go in and find a new technology, find a new system to learn on my own as a business owner, and then implement it and get it working well, and then be able to bring those skills and techniques to my clients and potential prospects. So that's the reason why I decided to start a YouTube channel. I wanted to add that to my arsenal as far as my part of my ecosystem, so that people are drawn to me as an individual and into my website to find out what it is that I'm all about. And as I said, YouTube can be leveraged in lots of different ways. Lots of different purposes and goals are out there for YouTube creators that create channels. So let's go ahead and get started. That's the reason, that's my backstory of how I got started with a YouTube channel. So there's the YouTube consumer and there's the YouTube creator or publisher. Today we're going to concentrate on the latter. If you're just a YouTube consumer, you just go over to youtube.com and you click on a channel that you know of, it's found, or you do searches in there to find individual videos that are of interest to you. But today we're going to talk about being a channel creator or a publisher. And one of the draws for me as a business owner, and also for all of you, of course, is that YouTube is such a huge search engine now. Really, it's comparable to Google. So if you have any type of business or passion project that you want to draw viewers into you, creating a YouTube channel is a must. YouTube is also a great, in a completely free fashion, option for hosting our content versus, say, having to upload individual video and audio content, say, onto your website builder and host environment. Okay, that's another way of publishing audio and video content, but YouTube provides all that to us for free. So why not take advantage of it. Now, kind of a cautionary point here before we get started. YouTube, the way that it's designed for creating channels, makes everything set up and management wise deceptively easy. And easy by the standpoint of they create a bunch of what I call walkthrough wizards that walk you through it, set things up in a step-by-step format. So be careful with what you choose for your options, the information that you put in the fields as you're going through those wizards, because it can be hard to find those particular settings after the fact, because the YouTube channel environment is set up, I think, in not necessarily a very organized format. And so different things, to me anyway, different things are not necessarily organized well. So it can be hard to find things at a later time. So be wary of that. In fact, maybe even make yourself some e-notes as you go through for particular features that you know for sure that you're going to be wanting to change or add additions to as you're setting up your channels, or you're making tweaks to them. Then that way it kind of can shortcut this having to go back and search, well, where was that feature setting? I ran into that multiple times until I started documenting where I was finding stuff. So that's just kind of a general warning. Okay, let's go ahead, and I want to share with you. You're looking at an actual view of my YouTube studio. This is the environment once that you go in and you create your initial YouTube channel. That is completely free, by the way. All that you need to be a YouTube channel creator is a free @gmail.com email address and login credentials to be able to access any Google tools, including YouTube. YouTube, of course, is owned by Google. And so that's all that you need, along with passionate content that you want to share on particular topics or on your business. Okay. And you also have to have some knowledge to go with that for the content that you are actually recording and then ultimately uploading and publishing onto your channel. So those are really the only need to have elements of being a YouTube creator and channel holder. Okay. So as I say, once that you go in, you sign up for a channel account with your @google.com email credentials. And then you have to go through, you have to enter in a small amount of information, letting Google know what's a little bit of the details for your intended channel. And then I believe that they even have an approval process that you have to go through before they actually release you into the studio creator content area. Actually release that account out to you. If I recall, that's a required step. But once that happens, you go ahead and you log in to youtube.com, and then you go over to the studio creator, which is what it is that we're looking at right now. And then it's within here that you can start customizing your channel layout, the descriptors, and various features, which is the goal of the share today for this podcast episode. And so it's within there that we can start to set everything up and make everything working for us as channel creators. So the main things within here, there are a few tabs in here that are critically important. The dashboard tab just kind of shows just a general and a very short summary viewpoint of statistics and information on your channel. But if you really want to have deep dive analytics, then you can click on the analytics tab. The main areas of the YouTube channel studio is the contents content tab, the customization tab, and the settings tab. Okay, so those are the main prime areas of your account that you want to be aware of. And so let's go ahead and start at the customization tab. There are two tabs on here. Profile is where you set up your banner image. This is the long horizontal and short vertical image that you place on top of your channel. And that's an important critical piece. So you want to have that set up onto your channel. You want to have a general picture, a pleasing picture of yourself, or some kind of capture of your organization that showcases the theme and topic of your channel. So you want to have that image on there for what they call a picture. You want to have your name. It's better to have an individual's name versus an organization. The organization or business that represents the channel, that represents and is associated with the individual, that goes down into the handle. The handle, by the way, is the short form URL that users can directly find your channel. So in my case, for my business, it's youtube.com/@yourtechandmore. So that's the way that I have the handle. That's the actual homepage where all of the content is housed. Then you want to be sure to have great quality description of your channel. So the other part of the a priori, so to speak, work that we as channel creators need to do for our passion project or for our business representation in YouTube is we need to define our own goals. What is it that we want to achieve and do on a regular basis within our YouTube channel? And part of that goal set and futuristic layout, mission, and vision for our channel is a lot of that is manifested directly in our description for the channel. And so you want to think about that, come up with a great succinct set of description and put that into this particular field. Okay. Now, whenever we create our channel, YouTube gives us a long form URL that is ultimately associated with the account, but it's that handle account that is predominantly used by users. Okay, so you always want to be sure that you're setting the handle, and then you go ahead and you can add in your links so that people can not only, whenever they're actually utilizing your channel, but then they can go over to your other representation of social channels, your website, and all that. So you want to think about links that you want to add. Okay, you want to include your relevant email address, all of those kind of things. Okay, so those are real important things to get right at the outset. Okay, and be brainstorming and getting your creativity going. Now, one thing to do about the home tab. The home tab is literally the front-facing page of your YouTube channel content. Now, this can be kind of deceptive, I think, about the way that they've got this page laid out for the home tab area. If you click on Add Section, you would think that you'd be able to literally create a brand new something for a searchable area within your channel account. But that's not the way that it's really availed to us. What they do is they allow us to link in or have shortcuts on the home tab for our existing playlists or podcasts that we are hosting on our channel account. We can't actually add in individual customization of sections that allow for easy finds of our material. Instead, though, that type of organization is found with playlists and with podcasts that are added in with our account. So that's the way that that part works. It's an important characteristic and kind of deceptive part of going in and making changes and additions in with our channel. Okay, so that's an important thing to know. And as part of our initial startup of a new channel or maintenance of a channel, you want to think long term, and you want to, whenever you are creating a set or an individual video that you want to upload, it's always best to categorize those into buckets. And buckets of videos are called playlists on YouTube. And so you want to come up with categorizations so that people can easily find your content into those buckets. And so you want to come up with creative, compelling names for those playlists. And then whenever you are uploading via the create button up here at the very top of any of the studio pages, okay, that's where you add your new content. And so whenever you upload new content, right now we're talking about videos, you automatically associate with that with a predefined that you have set up playlist. So that's a recommendation that I have, is that you don't just upload without any tagging of groupings any individual videos. You always want to add them to playlists. Okay. So while we're talking about that, let's go ahead and click on this create button. Okay. And so what you can do in there is you can start a new podcast. You can start a new playlist. And later on, we'll be talking about creating a post. But if you go in and you create a new playlist, you can title it. You can add a great description to it, and then you can either the best thing to do is to set it as public so that anyone can find that, and then you can go ahead and create it, and then you can start adding the videos. You can do that right within this wizard, or you can just do the min-level ads in here, and then click on create, and then later on utilize, whenever you're going through the upload wizard, then link that in with this playlist. But that's what you need to do to create a playlist for a set of videos or individual videos that fit a particular topic area. Okay, that's what I recommend for that, is that you always go with a playlist. Okay. And then if you want to just upload individual videos into one of these collector buckets, whether it be a podcast or a playlist, then you just click on upload video. And then that will walk you through the wizard of uploading and setting a description for that video, and then setting the playlist selector for it. Okay, so that's the way that part of the upload and maintenance process works. The other thing within the Home tab environment is that whenever you start uploading your individual video or uploading videos into your system, you should also create what's called a trailer. And a trailer really can be an individual video. Because the trailer kind of stands on its own. The trailer actually invites people to subscribe to your channel. It's only shown to people who are not actual subscribers yet of your channel. And so it's a great marketing tool to, in a video format, introduce people to your channel. And that's the way that this works, is that you have a trailer that you can define. Again, you record that, you upload it, and then you can set that as the trailer. And so that's what's showing here on the home tab, that the trailer has been set up. And so let's talk a little bit now about podcasts. Okay. So as I mentioned before, it's a great host for your podcasts. And so whenever you go in and you create one or more podcasts, have that on your channel, YouTube automatically and freely distributes your content out to their what they call YouTube Music app, which is something that is similar to Spotify or a lot of the other consume of podcast platforms that are out there. And so that is a freebie that we get for creating and managing our podcast out on our channel. So that is a great addition. Besides you just having your podcast findable, usable on your channel, you also automatically get it distributed out to another YouTube service for free distribution. So that's great. So the way that you go in, there are two important images that are associated with creating a podcast that I want to talk about that are not necessarily intuitive. So if you click on off of that create new podcast, this is the type of wizard options that you get. So let's go ahead and do create a new podcast. All right, so you see this idea here about the upload of a thumbnail image. So this is the main image of your podcast itself. That's what this thumbnail is, okay? And then you go ahead and you create the title of your podcast, and then its full description. So that's what that image is, okay? Now, that also, the idea about images that are related to podcasts is also seen in YouTube channel in a different area. So let's just go ahead and if you go in and let's go ahead and let's look at my content rather than trying to add one that doesn't apply. Let's go ahead and do edit here. Edit on an existing video that is part of my podcast. Okay. And so what you do here, whenever you are using their wizard to upload a video and that it is ultimately associated with your podcast, then they ask you for a separate thumbnail image. That image is actually the one that's associated with the individual video that is part of that podcast. So that's what I was saying a little bit ago about that there are two images in your channel that are associated with a podcast. There's the thumbnail of the uploaded video, and then separately, whenever you're first creating a podcast, and then there's the thumbnail that's associated with the podcast definition itself. So they are two different thumbnails, and that's the associativity of each to the respective purpose of what it is that you're setting up. So that's an important piece whenever you're going in and creating your podcast. So anytime that you're uploading any video content into your channel, you start with upload video. You go in, it's all set up as a wizard format. You go in and you click on this option, then you upload your .mp4 file, let that spin and do its upload, and then the secondary part of the wizard appears, and you can associate. The only difference between a podcast and a playlist or an individual video upload at that point is the selector for where it goes. In other words, if it goes, whenever you go in and you select your playlist, or you select, whenever you click on playlist, there's only one option for that in the wizard. And you can either select a particular podcast that's been defined, or you can select one of your playlists that you've got. So notice, by the way, whenever I only have one podcast that's on this channel, and that's the Path Forwards with Tech. And whenever I initially created that new podcast, I gave it that specific name. And you don't indicate as part of that name the word podcast behind it, because YouTube automatically tags that as a podcast. And so you don't want to confuse things by adding the word podcast in with a new podcast definition. So that's an important thing. And so this here is actually a podcast, and then the others that are listed here are playlists or individual bucket categories. Okay, so that's again, these are all weird kind of nuances of features in YouTube that I wanted to showcase today. So that's why I'm talking about these weird little details that people, creators, users of, and maintainers of our YouTube channels need to be aware of. Okay? So enough at this point on the way to upload content, create your buckets of topics by playlists, and also create and maintain your podcasts within the channel environment. So the other thing that's important, especially when we're talking about podcasts, to allow for return on investment monetization for us as business owners, as far as having a podcast, you always want to, regardless of your distribution medium, including with your channel, YouTube channel, is that you want to have a collector area for collecting comments per any video that you've got on your channel. And YouTube has a strange set of parameters that they enforce on us as channel owners to allow for collection of comments. And so that's another thing I want to talk about. You notice here how that's set here for individual videos as being public and none. That's part of what it is that we need to worry about here. So you start this idea about allowing for comments per video by going over here to settings, and you go over to community moderation, and you go over here to the defaults tab. Now, you want to, first of all, make sure that comments are on and not off. And then also you can set your moderation level. Now, what moderation has to do with is your acceptance or denial as a channel owner for that comment to actually be shown for underneath of that video. Okay, so if you just have basic on there, or none, or strict and hold all, however you decide to do that, then you allow or not the comment to actually be fed in on the channel. So that's an important feature to go with comment management to be thinking about. Okay. And then live chat, that's something separate. I think that goes with YouTube Live. So that's not what we're focused on right here. It's these two fields to do with basic per video commenting that I wanted to talk about. And then also off of settings and channel and advanced settings, the other thing that's important to allow for comments is this idea about whether or not kids can consume the content of your channel. Excuse me. To allow for comments, you have to have no set here for is your channel made for kids? Okay, this was something that I struggled with initially because my content, I don't feel, is kid or not restrictive. So I automatically said that, yes, this channel is made for kids, but I couldn't enable comments if I did that. So you have to set that as no. Okay. And then per video, so go ahead and click on save. And then per video, whenever you are uploading off of create and upload video, then off of there, so let's go ahead and let's click on this one again, since this is an existing video that's in my system. You need to make sure that visibility is public, okay? And you also need to have, now this is something that's grayed out because this is an existing video, but during the initial upload of a video, you can set if there's actual restrictions. And so that require these restrictions then would require people who wanted to consume an individual video in your account, that would be forced into logging into your account. And we can't do that to enable comments. So we need to have none here for restrictions. Okay. So that's another important thing to be aware of whenever especially for podcasting, that we want to collect user data as much as possible and encourage that. So those are the nuances in YouTube channel that we need to be aware of to allow for comments. Okay. Now, another thing to do with the flexibility allowances that we as channel holders have is we want to be able to, off of channel, we want to click on feature eligibility. Okay, so ultimately over time, we want to have all three of these levels enabled within our account. And that allows us to include longer video content, longer meaning over 15 minutes of content per video that's hosted on your account. And you also unlock more advanced features of YouTube channel whenever you have all three of these enabled in your account. So that's something to be aware of. You have to go through a bunch of verifications, etc., for all of them to be enabled. But once that you're aware of these features, you can go in and you can maintain that over time and be able to enable all three of them. Okay. And the other thing within the settings for channel that I wanted to comment about is to do with keywords. Okay, so one of the great things about having a YouTube channel is being found by Google searches and also within the main search bar of youtube.com. And the way that is allowed is through the keywords. Now, they have a different keyword feature allowances than I think that what I've encountered for a lot of other tools, and that's why I wanted to focus on this for a bit. They don't, number one, they allow you to create your own individual words or phrases for your keywords. Okay, so that's kind of unique in and of itself. Most platforms have only a certain predefined by that service allowances of keyword types that you can choose from. YouTube is different, where they allow you to do your own customization. Okay, so that's great. Their only restriction as far as the number of keywords and phrases that you can add has to do with the number of characters that are allowed for your channel. So they have a maximum of 500 characters that are allowed. So that's a kind of a uniqueness, I feel, with the YouTube channel that I wanted to point out as far as their keywords allowances and definitions that we create. So you want to add as many keywords as possible up to that 500 characters that really fully describe in a searchable manner the way that you want to have your channel found. So that's very important for us as maintainers of our channel. The other thing I wanted to talk about briefly is one of the ways in an organic and free way to promote our channel is utilizing the posts feature. If you go in and you create a post, that will, I don't have any of that set up right now on my channel. But what's great about posting is that internal to YouTube, you can include a special invite of your content, and along with polls and images it's kind of like social media, okay? Social media element where you can draw people in to individual videos or podcasts that you have on your channel by using posts. So that's an important thing to know if you weren't aware that was even part of the system. Now, the other thing that I want to talk on briefly is, so this here that I have for my account, for my business, is a fully public channel. But you can also create a completely private channel within YouTube that in essence simulates a membership site for your video content. I don't personally recommend this. There are much better ways to create a real membership website implementation completely separate from YouTube. But I know a lot of people and organizations and nonprofit clubs that utilize YouTube in this fashion. So why would you do this? So say, for instance, you have sensitive material as far as display of people's names, display of their camera feed that you want to keep private to a set of individuals that you trust, for instance. And you don't want to have that stuff just broadcast to the general public, literally anywhere over the world, which is the overall marketplace of YouTube, worldwide access. And so that's the reason why you would want to privatize your channel. So what you do if you want to implement this is you essentially hide your channel, and then you can share out that channel account once it's hidden to other individuals by setting channel permissions off of your settings, and then assign each person to a role. So that's the way that you would do that. So the way that you'd start the process to hide it is off of your YouTube studio. You click on settings again. You go over to channel and advanced settings, and then click on the hyperlink remove YouTube content. And then select the option, I want to hide my channel. Then again, you walk through a wizard that will allow you to hide it. And then to share, after that part's done, then to share your private channel, you can go into settings and permissions and click on the invite button that will allow you to invite and set a particular role for those private individuals that can have access into your account. Okay? So I hope that this has been beneficial for you as far as giving you a deep dive look into YouTube so that you can maximize its impact for your passion project, for your business, as far as being a publisher of content, getting that published material out there, getting it consumed by your audience to draw them to you. I've covered some important basics here for YouTube, and I hope that you have found it beneficial. Down below this video, you will find I have comments enabled in my YouTube channel without the restriction of being signed into a YouTube account. And so I encourage you to leave me comments. Let me know how this information has impacted you and the way that you will utilize your YouTube channel after consuming this. Again, this has been episode number 8 of the Path Forward with Tech podcast. And I will be back in 2 weeks again to shoot another episode of this podcast. And I look forward to your comments, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.